What's up, guys? It's Mace here. So what we're going to be working on today is we're going to be messing with the Venturi system a little bit. I did some different configurations. I'll flip the camera. Right here we have a 3/4 inch pipe. It's cut at a 50-degree angle, and we're going to be pushing that inside the T to see how far it goes down. This one here is also at a 50-degree angle. I'll take it apart and show you. But basically, I want to mess with different configurations and see what one adds the most air to the system. So right here, it's 50 degrees and it's flat right there. Okay. And the reason I did that is because I wanted to see if I needed to get a little bit more water through. So the water will splash against the back side here, the point, and when it splashes against the point, it creates it's a high pressure going across back, creates a low pressure in the front here, and that allows you to suck air down through the pipe and then out into your water to aerate your pond. And now that's my current setup. I have 1-inch pipe coming up from the pond. I have it going in those 2 stacks, which are drilled at or cut at 45 degrees straights and pushed almost all the way down. You can see the air goes out about a foot, and that's 2 lines. We're going to reduce it down to 1. We're going to do a comparison, and we're going to see which one actually projects more water and more air throughout the water. I mean, 1 foot's nice, but when you have a pond, decently sized, you kind of want to get air through it as much as possible. So that's what we're going to be working on today. Now what we have here is inside here is I have a laundry basket with holes on the side, and then I put a pressure treated wooden frame all the way around it with pressure treated supports going down the middle. Now in the base of this I have a rock which the pump sits on. So if any debris, like you see these helicopter shits, want to get in there, they can sink to the bottom and not get jammed up around the pump. This is my pump system here. Okay, it's a magnetic drive pump. Kind of want a magnetic drive pond pump, so that way there, if it does get shit on it, it won't burn itself up. Now, I originally had them come out into elbows, like so. So that's basically what it looked like on both sides. I'm going to tear this down. I'm going to just put the one on there, and we're going to test and see exactly which one gives us more air. We're not going to go scientific on this shit. We're just going to measure it out, see how far out the air goes, and the water pressure. Now you can see with the 1-inch pipe in a 1-inch T, it goes almost all the way down to the bottom. Not quite all the way. We're going to elbow up. We're going to blast it through this, and we're going to see how far out we can get. 1 elbow, the 1-inch T, you can see roughly gets around the same amount. It's about a foot either way. So even with the T in there and having 2 1-inch legs coming off, it's roughly about a foot and a half of air bubbles dispersed throughout the water. Okay, now what we have is we have a 1-inch T, but we have a 3/4 inch air inlet coming in. And I cut it flat across the bottom. You see there's slight little gaps all the way around it. So we're going to see how much air this puts into the system. Okay, so with the reduction down to 3/4 inch, it's sucking air in. I feel like it's putting a little bit more air into the system. Minimally. It's not a huge amount, but that's with the one configuration where it's cut flat on the bottom. Now we're going to take that air inlet off, and we are going to put the 2 different configurations in here, and we'll test them out. So roughly, I'd say almost 2 foot of air being projected out. A lot more water pressure. Because we can actually see it flowing pretty good. let's put the next one in. The first one we're going to try is still a 60-degree angle, but what's different about this one is it comes to a point, and if you look at the sides, they're cut in at an angle as well. So it's not as sharp as this one, or as dull as this one rather. See how it's kind of rounded? This one here is more of a flat reed type look. So let's give that one a shot. Okay, so the reed type shot allows for a lot more water to pass through. It still bottoms out, which is fine. It should allow for more water to pass through. On this side, it should suck equally as much air, if not a little bit more. I'm hoping that the extra water will be able to push it out further. Okay, so this is with the reed type looking one. I don't notice much of a difference, honestly. Kind of looks all the same. Yeah, I don't see a huge improvement. It does look like a lot more water's coming through, but it's really hard to prove at this point. The bubbles are really small, so that might be a benefit, because that's what you want, is you want micro bubbles. You want tiny bubbles. The tinier the bubbles you get, the more air you get in your system. So let's flip that thing around and restrict the flow even more and see what we got. So before I do that, I wanted to pull this one up a little bit. I wanted to pull it up so that the pipe entrance is almost the same height as the T. If you can see there on the curved part towards the top, towards the air inlet, I don't know if there's a sense in blocking all of the flow with dead PVC. So we're going to try this. It's got a lot more flow, and we're going to plug it back in and give that a shot now. Okay, so I'm standing in the pond now, and you can see the air coming out of the actual tube itself. It looks like it's actually being thrown quite a ways out, like quite a bit difference. Still micro bubbles. There's not a lot of big chunks. Not as much air as I expected, though. I thought there'd be a lot more air. I know that if you adjust the height, the angle, you can get more air to go further. So, but I don't know if it's what I'm looking for. If you push it down towards the bottom there, air doesn't go out as far. Tons of micro bubbles. But I don't know. Okay, so now we flopped it around. The air doesn't seem to be coming out anymore. Still pretty good flow though, but it's restricted because I pushed that straight 60 all the way down, or straight 50, sorry, all the way down, because that's as far as my radial arm or my miter saw would go. I mean, it's not bad. It's still putting air in the system, micro bubbles, just not a huge flow. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to go back to the 3/4 inch. I think we're going to go back to the flat bottomed one. It almost seemed like it did better. Not really sure. It's hard to say. Not really seeing a huge difference in any of them, to be honest with you. Okay, so what we ended up going with is we came up with a T up from the pump, or came up with a straight into the T. Now we're in a 1 inch by 3/4 T, so 1 inch inlet, 1 inch outlet, and then 1 inch inlet for air, or 3/4 inch inlet for air. Now, if you're wondering why I did the elbow, because I'm testing something with muffling a sound. I'm hoping that if I can redirect it down, it doesn't sound like a person sucking on a straw all goddamn day. Because let's face it, we know that's annoying when they're sucking on an empty cup. I got my 2 outlets going down. I reduced it down to 3/4 because I don't think it's going to get 1 inch full of air anyway. And the 3/4 allows me to adjust it a little bit better with the inlet and outlet. So I can push them down or pull them up if I need more water. But all right, let me hook it up and give that a shot. Okay, so this is my 3/4 inch setup, my 3/4 inch air setup. I'm not seeing a ton of air in this system at all. Could be because I, you know, got more air or water going through it. But I don't know. I think I might go back to the 1 inch. Honestly, I felt like I had more air in it. We'll see. Okay, so before I dismantled that 3/4 and took it apart, I shoved both of the air tubes all the way down so they're touching the bottom. And it appears we are getting a ton more air. It's not going out a lot, not going out very far. We're getting a lot of air, a lot more air than we were getting before. So that might be the ticket right there. Cut off as much water as you can without completely reducing the flow and burning up the pump. Okay, so after trying out the 1 inch by 1 inch tees, I ended up resorting back to the 3/4 by 1 inch tees, and that's what we're gonna go with. Quieter sound, better air, better flow as far as water goes. Honestly, it's just the way to go, I think. You don't need a huge air intake. You just need, you know, something to block off the water and suck the air in. Okay, well, with that being said, thanks for watching. Appreciate it. Hit that like and subscribe button for more weird shit that I can come up with. Peace.